Hey, here we are, week number 9 of the college football season. Ylose campus, Lance Taylor, ylose.com/Lance. It is time to win for you guys. The pod we do weekly, where we're going to give you today not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 sides, 5 winners right now. We're going to start in the Big Ten. By the way, man, it has been an absolutely insane year so far. As we go into recording this on a Thursday as we get ready for the weekend, we are 2-0 for you guys. And so we'll let you know how we did on Thursday, how we did on Friday, whenever this thing rolls out. There is only one unbeaten team 7 games into the college football season against the number. It's Marshall. They're actually off this weekend, but it has been an insane year. It's been a fun year. I did this the other day. So I do a daily for people that don't know exactly who I am. I do a daily sports talk show from 9 to 12 every day. It originates out of Birmingham, Alabama. And obviously 12-team playoff this year for the first time. My estimation, there are 28 teams, including Notre Dame, that are still alive to get into this 12-team playoff. Obviously, there's 4 automatic bids from the Power 4. There will be a 5th automatic bid when you talk about the Group 5 entry. Which, by the way, Liberty, not that they really were in this, but if they had any hope, they got dick kicked last night against Kennesaw State en route to Kennesaw State. The Owls' first ever FBS win. Amazing. Second largest live dog of the year. The Owls catching 27 last night. The largest dog to go down this year, Notre Dame at home week 2 to Northern Illinois as a 28-point favorite. And the ironic thing is Notre Dame still very much alive. And when you look at the odds, they are favored still to get to the college football playoff. Still a lot of meat left. One of those games they've got this weekend, MetLife. I still continue to get that wrong. MetLife, where they play Navy. That is not a game we will get to right here. We will have plays all weekend for you again. Jump on board with us. The daily, $49, the weekly, $99, the monthly, $2.99, ylose.com/Lance. First game we're taking a look at again in the Big Ten, 7:30, I should say, Eastern time, NBC, Wisconsin in Camp Randall hosting number 3 Penn State. Wisconsin has won 3 straight. They've only allowed 16 total points over those 3 games. In these 3 consecutive wins, they've outscored their opponents 117-16. Tyree Walker has been the difference running the football. You go back to week 2 or week 3, it was against Alabama, where they got run out 42-10. You lose your quarterback for the year in Alex Van Pelt, and Braden Locke takes over. Didn't look great. Looked like the moment maybe it was a little too big. He's kind of settled into this role, but I think it's more old school Wisconsin football that we saw under Barry Alvarez, that we saw under Brett Bielema. Some of those Wisconsin teams where really it was all about running the football. It was all about defense. That's what you're getting right now with the Badgers. Penn State is coming off a bye. The last time we saw them out was in the Coliseum against USC. We backed USC that game, so we ended up getting home. But USC blew a 14-point halftime lead. They did everything to give the game away. Penn State, and I give Drew Aller credit, quarterback there. He completed big 4th down conversions on that final drive in regulation to get the game to overtime. But basically, USC shit the bed in that one. I don't know how good this Penn State team is. They've been really good in the red zone, and Tyler Warren is the best tight end in college football. I am convinced of that. But they're 26-28 in the red zone, 93% complete, 93% clip right there, including 20 touchdowns, which is pretty insane. I just think this Camp Randall atmosphere is going to be completely off the charts. And when you look at Wisconsin, you don't get them in the spot much as a home underdog. Now, they were a home underdog against Alabama. They ended up getting a dead kick, and they lose 42-10. But since 2001, they are 10-4 against the number as a home underdog. That is the best mark in the FBS and the Power 4. I'm catching 6.5, primetime game. That place will be completely jumping. I'm taking Wisconsin plus 6.5. That is your first play here at the Ylose pod. Next game, we are going to take a look at the Big 12. I'm trying to get the up-to-the-date number here. I was completely wrong on Colorado. I have got to give Deion Sanders a lot of credit. Obviously, Shedeur Sanders is monster talent. Good chance he is going to be the number 1 overall guy in the May NFL draft. But this Colorado team sitting at 5-2 blows me away. And you look at Dion. I've always talked about this. Good coaches win, great coaches cover. You guys have heard this before. Not ready to say that Dion Sanders is a great coach, but he is better than advertised. You know, they took a dip last year after coming out. That TCU game was pretty amazing. Everybody wanted to see this Colorado team. And the offensive line was trash. It's gotten a little bit better. And I give the defense a lot of credit. One of the best teams in all of college football, leading right now the FBS in tackles for loss. And a lot of that is that defensive line and Warren Sapp, the Hall of Famer. He is the guy that is in charge of that unit, and they get after the quarterback. But Cincinnati is one of these teams that is quietly completely off the radar in the Big 12. Scott Satterfield, a lot of people didn't understand why he was leaving Louisville to take the Cincinnati job. But their two losses, they blew a 29-6 lead in the second half to Pittsburgh, undefeated, by the way. And they missed a last-second field goal in a 3-point loss to Texas Tech, a team that was undefeated in the Big 12 up until last week. Those are the only two losses for Cincinnati. Now I'm catching 6.5. I feel good about Cincinnati in this spot. I think the number's a little inflated. This number opened at 3. It's gone to 6.5. You are getting public money back in Colorado. But I do like Cincinnati in this spot. That is going to be our second play in the Big 12. We are taking the Bearcats plus 6.5. We are going to stay in the Big 12 for play number 3 here at Ylose, the pod. Big 12 has been an insane year. Coming into the season, I thought there were 4 teams in the Big 12 that could win this conference. And it's so funny. We were at SEC Media Days, and I was talking to a couple of national guys, and one of those guys from the Action Network, Brett McMurphy, who's very credible, fun guy, does a great work. But he told me, I think there's 7 or 8 teams in the Big 12 that can win this conference. And I told him he was completely insane. I didn't see it. I thought the teams that could win the conference, Oak State, defeated right now in the Big 12, yet to win a game. Utah, Cam Rising, we never got to see them at 100%. They're completely out of the race. Kansas, god-awful. And then Kansas State. I do have one team alive coming into the season that I felt was going to be really good in the Big 12. I knew the Big 12 was going to be topsy-turvy. It was going to be insane. I didn't realize it was going to be this level. But 3:30 Eastern Time, ESPN, undefeated, 11th-ranked BYU heads to the Bounce House in Orlando to take on Central Florida. BYU, you go back Friday night. If you guys were backing me, we had Oklahoma State plus the points against BYU. They rushed for a season-high 269 yards en route to losing the game 38-35. BYU has not been good against the run. And you look at UCF, they lead the Big 12 right now, over 280 rushing yards per game. Ja'Curry Brown has taken over this offense from KJ Jefferson, and it looks like it's running a lot better with him there. RJ Harvey leads the league right now, almost 900 yards, 11 touchdowns, almost 7 yards a clip on the ground. That's going to be a problem for BYU. If UCF can play clean football, and I think the difference will be at home playing clean football against a BYU team that is forced 16 turnovers, 4th right now in the FBS. I like UCF to play the clean football, to run the football effectively with Brown and Harvey, and I think they win this game going away. They're only 2.5. I think this is the wake-up call for Kalani Sitake and BYU, but we are taking UCF minus the 2.5. And I know a lot of people, if you're a tourist, you're a casual, marginal college football fan, and you walk into a sports book anywhere on the Vegas Strip, and you look up at the board, and you're like, damn, 7-0 versus 3-4. BYU's 11th nationally, and they're catching points. There is a reason they're catching points, because Central Florida, the Knights, can run the hell out of the football. BYU has not been good at stopping the run. Next game we're going to take a look at in the SEC, Alabama hosting Missouri. Now, I was in Knoxville last weekend for what Alabama fans are going to call a debacle. Alabama losing 2 games out of their last 3, and this is the first time they've had 2 losses coming out of the month of October since 2007. And if you're keeping count, that was Nick Saban's first year as the head coach of Alabama. They have dropped to 15th nationally, the lowest they have been ranked since 2010. So not a great spot for Alabama to be in right now. And this is one of those games that is a must-win. Now, when you look at Missouri, so fortunate to beat Auburn last week. And unfortunately, if you guys were with me last weekend, we backed Auburn plus 3.5. It fell late. Hopefully some of you guys, maybe you took it, you got it at 4, pushed out, maybe you got it at 4.5, where originally we had chopped it, but we had to go off at 3.5. And Auburn had the 14-point second half lead, and they completely shit the bed and end up losing that game. And now this is, a team right now in Missouri that they found a way to win that game. But now they lose their quarterback in Drew Lock, and it was kind of a crazy story. He goes to the ER. He makes it back in the end of the third quarter, and that really was the difference of the game. If Drew Lock doesn't show back up, they have got no shot in that game. But he was able to come back. They end up winning the game by 4. It was a brutal loss if you had the Auburn Tigers. But Missouri, without Nate Noel, your leading rusher, without your starting quarterback Brady Cook, now Drew Pine, a kid that played at Notre Dame, who played a good majority of that game against Auburn on Saturday, was ineffective. I don't think the offense is going to be effective all against Alabama. This number was hovering at 13.5, 13 to 13.5 until officially Brady Cook and Nate Noel are out. It is ballooned to 17. That doesn't scare me at all. You look at Alabama, they're 1-3 against the number in SEC play right now. But this is in Alabama since 2012, after facing Tennessee, 12-0 straight up, 10-2 against the number. They have committed 62 penalties, which they've got to clean up. 15 penalties last week in Knoxville. One of the reasons they ended up losing a tight game to the Volunteers is the 15 penalties, over 100 yards in penalties. That is 5th most right now in the FBS. I think they cleaned that up at home. Kalen DeBoer and this coaching staff are in a really, really tough spot right now. This is homecoming. They've got to win big. 4:30 start, or 3:30 start, I should say, ABC. Alabama minus 17. I like them here. I think Missouri's going to have problems both sides of the ball. I think Milroe bounces back after such a shaky game. He's got 6 turnovers his last 3 games. He's been harassed. Again, Alabama's self-infliction with the penalties, the turnovers. I think they cleaned it up against Missouri. It's a big number. Missouri 21st right now ranked. Got no problem laying the points. I think Alabama wins this game going away. And this is one of those spots where we'll call it a rocking chair game, where halftime you're looking back and you're like, damn, we're up 31.5. That's pretty amazing. That's the kind of performance I think you get out of Alabama this week, bouncing back. A lot of people believe this team is lost. I still think they're super talented. You go back to the Alabama team that was up 28-0 on Georgia, who completely dominated Texas. We backed Georgia +5 this past week. That Alabama team can obviously beat anybody in college football. Our final game that we're going to get into tonight, LSU on the road in College Station against Texas A&M. This game is slated to kick at 7:30 Eastern time, ABC. By the way, ABC's done a great job getting just quality, really, really good games. And it looks like they've got a great triple header coming up this weekend, starting off with Notre Dame Navy at noon. LSU, this will be the first time, and this is kind of one of those quiet rivalries that goes back into the 80s where they were in some massive recruiting battles. But this is the first time these two will meet as top 15 teams for the first time since 1987. Since 2000, 5-1 versus A&M. When the Aggies are ranked is LSU. This Blake Baker defense has gotten better each and every week for LSU. They're 3rd in pressures right now. They're 7th in sacks, so they're getting after the quarterback. Connor Wegman has not been good, but I will say the home team has won 7 straight in this series. And the difference here, as good as Garrett Nussmeier has been the last few games, he is facing the best pass defense he has seen the entire year. They are 16th, or excuse me, they're 10th nationally right now, only allowing opponents to complete 54% of their passes. They're 16th nationally in third down defense, and I think Le'Veon Moss running the football is going to be the difference here. Number opened at 3. It's gone down to 1. I'm taking the home team. I like A&M with Mike Elko. This is a massive game, biggest game in college football this weekend, but we are taking the Aggies -1. So to recap, we've got A&M -1 at home. We've got Alabama all the way up to 17 now at home. We've got Cincinnati on the road at Colorado +6.5. UCF -2.5 at home. And then finally, Wisconsin +6.5. So 3 favorites, 2 dogs. Those are your winners right here on the Ylose Campus Pod. Again, very simple to back us this week. We're going 5-0 right there. That should be enough. So take that 5-0, play it, and then bounce back with us and, use us next week. Monitor whatever you want to do. But we are going to win for you. Again, we're already 2-0 this week. If you guys have played with us this year, you know exactly what we're talking about. So we are here to crush it for you guys, but we're going 5-0 this week right here on the pod. And then we're going to have more winners Friday night, Saturday. We're going to continue to roll into November. So jump on board and win with us. Very simple. Go to ylose.com/Lance. That is ylose.com/Lance. The daily is $49. The weekly is $99. The monthly is $299. I just absolutely gift wrapped you guys 5-0 on week 9 of the college football season. Good luck. Let's win, and let's absolutely crush it. Tell your friends, like, subscribe, share. We would really appreciate that right here on the Ylose Pod.